Hola, bon dia. Carl Bunsen here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How is your Easter going? Boa Portugal to you, wherever you are in the world, and lots of lovely messages coming in. Where else in the world are you going to see a morning show where somebody simply sends you a message, polvo a lagareiro? Here on the Good Morning Portugal show, where we are talking about our favorite food again. It is Frank About Food Time, the Portuguese food tour. Frank's here, and our very special guest this morning, Antonio Barbosa. Good morning to you. Maybe we call you Tony.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Of course you can. My friends do. All my friends do.
Fantastic. So good to have you here, Tony. We saw your article, 20 tasty ways to eat your way through Portugal, shared on your wonderful infinitesolutions.pt website. And we simply had to get you on the program to talk about this on a leisurely Easter Monday. So that's the first thing to ask you. We're here in Portugal. We're never really sure, even after a few years of being an expat here, what goes on over this Easter weekend. Is everything closed again still this Monday?
No, actually, everything will be opening up, especially the terraces outside in the restaurants and coffee shops. Not inside, but outside, everything will be opening up again. So it would be great to get back and, enjoy today's a beautiful day here in the Minho. So I'll be looking forward to doing it later, maybe alongside the river somewhere and just having a cup of coffee. But everything will be coming back.
Thank you so much. Thank you. A cup of tea coming in for me. That sounds wonderful. Yes, yesterday, very leisurely, beautiful, solemn, sacred day not solemn, uplifted and joyous day in Portugal yesterday. So we're going from that to some uplift of the restrictions out on the terraces, on the esplanadas. It's like a taste of freedom again here in Portugal. People can go out and do that.
Yeah, I can't tell you how happy I am. Just excited because being how it is that you want to just have a nice bottle of wine or a cup of coffee or just with the friends and together and not being able to do that, for me it really hurt. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit of a social person.
I didn't pick that up at all.
Yeah, no? Frank, he seems so shy, right?
Quiet. Yeah, this guy. Well, why did we bring a shy guy here today this morning? What's going on over here?
This is going to be hard work this morning. So, Frank, are you looking forward to going out onto those terraces of Coimbra and having?
I am looking forward to be unleashed and get out of this lockdown, especially when you come to a new town and you haven't even had the chance. Well, I've been here before. I live in Coimbra, Antonio, and we just moved over here about 2.5 months ago. But I've been here quite a few times. But seeing it in its flow was something that I've been looking forward to, and hopefully now it will happen. Now you will find me doing tasca hopping. Now you will find me going from one place to another, having food and acting like a proper lush.
Bring it on, I say. Bring it on, I say. How lovely. This is a mixed blessing, this show, because we're talking about all these wonderful things and experiences, which some people unfortunately can't have just as yet, and 20 tasty ways as well. So we're gonna have tummy rumblings, and imaginations being, wild with desire by the end of this show, I suspect. So let's see who's tuned in already. Lovely to have the company of Jean van der Beek, who's over there in France this morning. Polvo, we'll come back to this, but this is the octopus, isn't it? Or maybe omelette de mioleria. for breakfast. John knows his Portuguese food, absolutely. But boras asadas is a good one as well. So that's what's that? That's the old baked spuds, isn't it?
Puras asadas is a good one.
Is that or is that donkey? Hold on a minute. We'll come back to that.
No. That's bujo.
No, don't read it. Don't read it literally.
Okay.
Don't read it literally, man.
Right.
You're gonna get us deported. You and me together. All right.
Sorry.
Because then you would have to go if it's masculine or feminine, and I think he's having feminine. There's a burros asada.
Okay. All right. First cultural faux pas of the morning. Let's move on.
Portuguese language is so tricky.
Bom dia, alegria de la ria from Andy the Doc Thompson. How was your Easter weekend, Doc? Paul and Louise, look at this. It's snowing very slightly here. Bon dia, alegria from UK this morning. So a little bit of snow. They did say it might.
It was kind of chilly this morning. It was like +9 this morning. I mean, did you guys? I was there in your neck of the woods over there, Carol Munson.
It is. It feels like it's going to be really hot today. No question about it. It's a cool start. Looking out over the well-pruned vineyard, it's beautiful and bright and sunny. But yeah, it's quite cool in the air still. But I'm sure within a couple of hours it's going to be unbearably hot. Bon dia, conseguir nossa dos diaria para manter a sonho vivo. Mike showing off there. I don't know what he's talking about, but. I think, what has everyone been doing their Portuguese lessons over the weekend? Don't believe the weather, man. It says 12 and misty, but it's more like 16 and blue skies. Absolutely. Oh, no, I forgot it's food I haven't eaten yet. This is going to be problematic. I tell you, it really is. We haven't even started really talking or looking at the food yet, and my stomach is rumbling. Good to see you, Frank, says Andy the Doc. And lots of lovely messages coming in. Garvo's here as well. Bon dia, alegria from central Portugal there. Alva Azra from Norway. Keep saying you're from Finland. I'm so sorry. That's probably why you've put that this morning. Bon dia, alegria from Norway. Thank you, Milda. Paul Williams down in the Algarve. Bon dia, alegria from a grey morning here in Cabanas de Tavira. Will be sunny though later at our favourite cafe. They're looking forward to getting out on the Esplanade. Cafe o Escalio down there in the Algarve. Shout out to all the cafes. Get out there. Give them your business, folks. They need it right now. Greetings from Harrogate. Happy Easter, everyone. Weather sunny, but 1 degree centigrade and forecast for snow in Yorkshire, God's own county. On board segunda-feira, Prosecco Peggy is in the house. Prosecco Peggy is here. And PPA, good morning from London. That's a very interesting name you have there, but good morning to you in London. Bon dia, Carl, Frank, e Antonio from Peggy. Any hangover?
Hi, Peg.
Yeah. Let me just ask you this very quickly, Tony. Have you ever had pochine in Ireland?
Pochine?
Yeah. The alcohol brewed from potatoes.
No, I know. Isn't that where they make vodka also from potatoes? No,
it can't be done. So I think Eugene is struggling with said brew and looking for hangover cures. Bananas, Gary says. Here's Gary again. T-shirts and shorts day yesterday, cleaning the pool. Today seems even warmer. Get that vitamin D going, I think is what Gary's talking about there.
Gary, the pool boy.
Well, I was just thinking that he could do all sorts of business around Central Portugal. Like putting himself up, like creating that image of himself as he'll saunter around your pool in his shorts and t-shirt. He could pick up all sorts of business.
This is why he's giving us a visual here. This is not cool.
Greetings from Portland, Oregon, USA. Bon dia from the Jones there. Magdalena's here. Mike's messages getting our fix and keeping the dream alive. I knew that really. Thank you, Magdalena, though, for that. And up in Matosinhos, Joel is here as well.
Hey, Joel.
Porto there, bon dia from Joel. So let's bring. Actually, no. Before we do that, we need to find out more about you, Tony. You mentioned the Minho there. Is that where you're based in Portugal? You're up in the north.
Yeah, I'm in Vila Nova de Cerveira, and so we're about 10 kilometers right over the Spanish border. So we get a lot of that mix also, and that's where I go. It's really one of the beautiful parts of Portugal. There's so many of them, even where you guys are at. I love that area too. I love all of Portugal, really. But, you got to call home somewhere and you have that special place. And this is mine, This is where the Vinho Verde comes from. Areas of like Ponta de Lima and the Alvarinho from Monção, Melgaço. And so, but it's great because you have like the Minho River, okay? and it just divides Spain, and it meets the Atlantic. It embraces and hugs, and then it just, when it reaches the Atlantic, it just goes, mwah, gives it a kiss. And so you have this beautiful view of overlooking, like, Spain, and the scenery, everything there in Camina. And there's a very popular beach area called Moledo, and so it's really, I don't know if you guys ever heard, but like that's a lot. It's jet set, and a lot of the years ago, where like the prime minister would go, and he still does, I'm sure, and the president of the republic, and a lot of other personalities. So, but it used to be an old fishing village, and it just over 30 years it grew so much, but it's beautiful. It's not overgrown to the point where like a lot of construction and everything, but it's really great. So the Minho is where I call home. That's where my heart is, because that's where my father was from here, and also my mom. So that's why I'm here. I mean, that's why.
So they must know you like all over town. Like, here's Tony. Keep that bread warm for him. He's going to be there at 8:30 in the morning. Here's Tony. He's going to come pick up his laundry at this time. Like, you're like Tony. You're like the king of Kensington there.
I love it when it's carnival. I can put on a mask, and then that way nobody will know me. That's why I let my beard grow, and so people are like, even when you wear the in the mask, and you go in the public and stuff, right? And so that sometime I can harm a fly then, maybe.
Well, we can imagine, and we can't wait to come up there and visit you. And we're inviting ourselves, Tony, right here on the show now. But can you imagine, Frank, going around the Minho area there with Tony? It's going to be a lot of fun on our food tour report.
I would not say a thing. I'd be like, hey, this guy over here, he does the talking for me, man. He knows the lay of the land over there. So how many? There must be quite a few Tashkas over there, right? So what's the population of the town that you're in?
Well, the whole district of Viana do Castelo would be around 60,000 people, maybe 60, 70. It's not more than that. My village here is about 200 people. And that's on a sunny day. So, and
that's an interesting point, Tony. That is such an interesting point you make. 200 on a sunny day. There are two counts of population in Portugal, aren't there? There's the sunny day population, and then there's the middle of winter population. There'll be how many? 3 or 4 people who you might see poking out from behind the curtains. But you could drive through a Portuguese village and think, oh, no one lives here. And then the sun comes out, and there's a festa like at 10 o'clock at night or something, and it looks like the busiest place on earth. It's a funny thing. Don't underestimate, or don't be fooled by a quiet village, right, in Portugal.
Because you know what the deceptive thing also is the shutters, right? Because when the shutters are down, you walk by towns. It's like, it seems like, that scene from the old Western movies. Like, as you're walking, all the shutters are down. They start bringing all the shutters down. Nobody lives here. I found one of the first times, like I walked around in one of the Lisbon neighborhoods. This is what I was thinking walking by. I was like, does anybody live over here? These can't all be empty. And then you realize, like, in the next week when the sun comes out, everybody's out hanging their laundry, everybody's out having a drink, everybody's out having loud conversations across one building from one building to another. Hey, to the bay, what did you have? Oh, chorizo with this. Yeah, all kinds of nonsense going on.
So some lovely local insight there about Portugal, and to extend the Western theme, the long arm of the food law, Sheriff Barbosa is in town.
Yeah, that's it.
Running things around there. So tell us about the website we're going to look at is Infinite Solutions. I mean, you've got to love a name like that. You're in the property business, and you have infinite solutions for people, right, Tony?
Right. I'm solution oriented. And when me and my business partner, her name is Anita Souza, brilliant. Well, you know what they say, it's not behind every great man, there's a great woman, it's on the side. And a lot of that virtual stuff, and you see the pictures and everything, it's not me, the content is mine, and we contribute to that. But, putting it all together, I mean, it's just impossible without her. So when we created this business, I was part of a major brand here in Portugal before, and for 15 years. I mean, that's all I've been living and doing. That's the only thing. Are you still in real estate? And I say to them, that's all I know how to do. I don't know how to do anything else, And so, when we decided to open up our own brokerage, and have our own office. And it's infinite solutions because we're we're solution oriented, not problems. And everyone has a problem, so we have to fix it. That's what it is. And if you think creatively outside of the box, there's a solution for everything except death and taxes, right? So you got to pay that.
Okay. Notwithstanding those two, as we often realize on this show. So here it is. This is the website in question, infinite-solutions.pt. Antonio Barbosa very kindly offered to appear here at very short notice during the Easter break and share with us. Look at this. There's some polvo already.
So Tony, is this very common to put your little brother's picture right up the profile?
Yeah, he's cuter to me. That was pre-COVID. That was pre-COVID. And then I never had a chance to change it. I mean, we do so much stuff that like you forget about that, but I actually have to update it. But I says, yeah, that's my twin brother. That's all. He's just, when you have a clone that you work 25 hours a day, you need a clone, right? So that he's my clone there. He's my virtual assistant.
Tell us about it, Tony, because we've all got that kind of combo. I'm sure there'll be an app soon. Like the pre-COVID and post-COVID pictures, and you can do a face swap on them or something like that.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Carl. Carl, I just remembered something. You really you got to get in contact with a friend of mine, because I'm looking at some of these pictures and they're borrowed. A majority of them are mine, but there's a few there that are hers. And she wrote a book about her love affair with Portugal in story, about pictures of all of Portugal. I'm going to give you her contact. It's somebody that you should, maybe it's just not about food, but she's in Poland, right? So you imagine somebody living, her name is Kat. Can I say her name?
Of course, you please do. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Credit where it's due.
Her name is Kat Piłeka, and she's a professional photographer. I mean, just really top in her field there in her country, in Poland. And so she visited Portugal years and years ago. And so she put all her, after many years of collecting images and everything, and she put it in a book. And she graciously, because I do like in my morning greetings, and it's part of just a routine that I have, and I use her pictures or my pictures and everything. So definitely somebody you should know about their love affair. I mean, I have my own, but everybody has their own love affair of Portugal, right? Why they make it their home and stuff. And it would be somebody that you could love to talk to for sure. Thank you. Sorry.
No, thank you for that recommendation. Right. So for all of you who live here, or even some of you who don't, who think you know Portugal, I'm lingering on this set of 6 pictures. I'm not going to say anything about them at the moment, but we'll come back to that when we've looked at all the lovely food, because I want you to identify what's going on in each of those pictures. Fairly easy, but a nice little bit of fun this morning. So superlative seafood, sun-ripened fruit, lamb raised on flower-speckled meadows. This is poetry, Tony. Free-range pigs gorging. Frank's mentioned these fellas before. Free-range pigs gorging on acorns beneath oak forests. Without them, it just doesn't taste the same. Regular visitors have long been in on the secret, but here are 20 reasons to make your stomach rumble and to make you drool like Homer Simpson. He didn't write that last bit. I added that last bit. But here are the 20 reasons why Portugal should be on every foodie traveler's list. Number 1. I'm not going to get a word in here because I know you and Frank are going to be talking a lot about the food here. The piscivore perfection. What is going on here?
Frank?
That's sex on a plate.
That's what's going on
sensual
there.
Food, right? It's very sensual, very sexy. Portugal has such a great Atlantic coasts that fish is abundant, and that's sea bass. It's spectacular. Just along from the Atlantic, and even in the rivers, where they have like trout, truta. Also, and just any kind of fish, it's just it reigns supreme because we are surrounded by water pretty much on one side. So
sea bass, how lovely! Quite simply cooked, I think. They're baked, possibly with a bit of lovely garnish going on, and lemon inside for a little bit of flavour there. In Europe, only Icelanders eat more fish than the Portuguese. So you're getting some lovely facts here this morning as well, thanks to Tony. So only Icelanders eat more fish than the Portuguese. Superstar chef Ferran Adria says food from Portugal's Atlantic waters is the world's best. And he's Spanish. He has to take his chef's hat off to us. Markets glimmer with a startling variety from baby cuttlefish to U-boat-sized tuna. Is that a U-boat? No, it's a tuna, relax. If your food heaven is fresh sea bass, expertly barbecued with a hint of lemon, garlic, and olive oil, this is the place. So the barbecue business going on there on what Frank describes as sex on a plate. So liquid gold. Frank, you've always got something good to say about the olive oils of Portugal, right?
The olive oil of Portugal, I've bought a lot of olive oil in North America. It just olive oil and wine from Portugal just doesn't travel very well. When you have it over here, it's just something completely different. Especially if you go to the small farms and you buy like a huge thing of olive oil, it just
Five
tastes like
liters.
olives.
A 5 liter, or they come around here. I mean, if you live in in a smaller villages, the guy from Trás-os-Montes, where that's great olive oil as well as the Alentejo, and they come around with these 5 liter gallons for like 14, 15 euros. So when you put it all together, I mean, it's so bitter, and I think it's just so authentic and original that like the picture, you could dip it in bread and just have it.
And based on the area, right, Tony? Like, let's say there are certain areas where the olives will be bitter. There are certain areas where the olives will be more fruity, and you've got like this range of flavor and this range of olive oil that is just unbelievable. You know those like 5 liter things. For some reason, I've got like 2 of them sitting in my house, and we're a household of 2 people, and I've got 2 of them sitting in my house, and like anybody would come around and be like, "What are you? Have you become like that hoarding grandma who's like hoarding olive oil?" But no, man, I just love having a lot of olive oil and using it.
Yeah. What you cook it, even when you boil like a fish or just potatoes. I learned this from my mom and dad. They're no longer here with me, right? But I learned this from my mom. Cooking, I learned how to cook from her. And even when she's boiling like potatoes, you just split the potato a little bit so then you put garlic. Okay, when you boil it, you put a little bit of garlic there, the salt and everything, and olive oil and onion, and so then you get a mix of it's just not boiling water or boiling water in potatoes. So when you have it with the codfish, whether you grill it or whatever, or any fish or anything, just the boiled potatoes, it just adds that. And then you put a little bit of olive oil inside as well. I mean, it starts cooking there. It's not even before it gets to the plate. You already know the everything is working together.
It's game over right there. It's game over.
Yeah.
It's something so simple, but it is something so delicious, nutritious. You can't go wrong with it. It's whatever. And me, I'm so crazy. I'll add a little bit of dollop of butter on it as well, just to give it like that extra kick.
Good
Absolutely.
heavens! All right. So on the slow cook salt card. I had some beautiful bacalhau nuts from my local shop. Went out to get some Easter eggs. Came back with bacalhau. Kids weren't happy about that. Dribbled into soups or simply soaked up with hot from the oven bread. That's what's going on here. Exports have quadrupled, says Tony in his article here, over the past decade as the world wakes up to the quality of Portugal's liquid gold, either from big-time producers like Gallo, which you see, the ubiquitous Gallo and Oliveira de Serra, or handcrafted single farm oils. And that's the part of the journey we want to go on, is the tasting of those oils right where they're made, at source. The national boiled dinner then. Now, to your fancier chefs, this looks kind of plain, doesn't it? But it's very misleading. It belies something rather marvelous going on beneath the surface. What's happening here, Tony?
It's a smorgasbord of meats and sausages. And then I think the oranges there is just for decoration. It's just meats. You have it's one of the dishes, especially in the wintertime. People when they would eat it because they're working and stuff a lot, and it's sustainable food. It's also to warm you up, and you have potatoes, you have cabbage, you have farinheira, morcella. The part of the pig's ear and also beef and chicken. O cozido à portuguesa.
What does that mean? Cozido. What does that translate as? Literally?
Stew. Portuguese stew.
Okay, fair enough. And you see this, don't you, in the supermarkets now? I've noticed this in the Pingo that I was at recently. They kind of sell this in a pre-pack. As they're trying, I think, with the lockdown to help people connect with really homely comfort food. Is this presumably the ultimate comfort food of Portugal then?
Pretty much. I mean, other than codfish, cozida portuguesa. I mean, there's so many, but cozida portuguesa, like I said, it's a winter dish. And this, and every area would make it a little bit different. Like Transmontano would make something similar to this, and where it's called like feijoada transmontana. So where they put beans in there, and the cozido the way typically where I like it, at least. Then it also has like you have on the side some beans, okay, white beans, or whereas in Transmontes they may put red beans, and also some people, I like it. I like rice, and you know what? Olive oil on top. People don't like it, and when you boil it, okay, as you're cooking it, then you're left with the stew, right? Because then it's water based, and then people have like a soup, so it's like a dish that you make it, and then it just lasts for also for soup. It's a combination. It's mostly in the winter time, and then you can have that stew soup with all that flavorings of all, and then even with the meats alongside of it. So it's a combination of things.
The belly rumbling.
When I was looking at this, Tony, at the cozido, like from area to area, as you were saying, and the red beans used in Transmontana, and then going over there, I was like, look at the ingredients over here. They're all simple. It all looks very simple. It's basically cozido, boiled dinner, pretty much. And then you've got potatoes, you've got carrots, and then on top of that, feijão on top and whatever. What happens usually while eating this, like in a family setup, like right next to your lunch table, whatever? Is there like a cot you can sleep on immediately? Like as soon as you have this?
I was just thinking of that, Frank. You really need to take a nap afterwards.
Dude, like it's not just that the food is. It's just after that you need to take a nap, and maybe after that you can have that soup, because then the soup can settle things, and then there could be open passages and things can go by, because this thing it looks heavy, man.
It's heavy. It's heavy, and great with vinho verde. Some people like vinho maduro, we're more of a ripened wine, but the vinho verde, because it has characteristics, a lot of gas, right? So once in your stomach, it helps it dissolve. So a lot of the meaty sausages like these are actually it accompanies great. Vinho verde tinto, fantastic. Vignon, for example. Which is like this region here of like Ponta de Lima, Ponta da Barca. It's very, very good for that kind of wine. And it was fun. It's funny because I did a room the other day about food and wine in Portugal on another social platform, and everybody was just like, I like vinho verde, vinho verde, vinho verde, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize that there is a big audience and for the vinho verde. It's a very special rare wine that either you like it or you don't like it, but because of the low alcohol content as well, it's not like you normally have like a 11.5. You can get even 9.5 to maybe, if you get to 12, there are some. Unless it's the Alvarinho, then you have like a little bit, it can go up a little above about 12 and stuff. But it's still a vinho verde because it's gassy, you know what I mean? And so it promotes a lot of, if you have those heavy foods, that's what it's for.
But we also know that it could be a little bit deceptive if you say, oh, this one's got a lower alcohol content. That's when you open the second one. That's when you open the second one and get in more trouble.
I think that's
you're right.
Happening up in the north today, probably all over Portugal. It gets the party started, doesn't it? The old Vinho Verde. We love that. And somebody who loves Vinho Verde, I'm sure, is Penny here. Bon dia, alegria. Wasn't expecting you to be here this beautiful Easter Monday. Come on. It's the food tour with Frank about food on a Monday. And then when we saw what Antonio was writing about, we had to get him on. So they're most definitely here. Gary, as well as being the eye candy by the pool, he doubles up as an emergency flotation device in case there's any problems there. Bon dia from Julia, going on a road trip tomorrow. Can't wait to try what you're talking about. Yeah, we're giving people inspiration here. Well, you are certainly, Tony. What a lovely Easter mug. Yes, I did manage to get the kids something after all. But I tell you what, the supermarkets had it sold out of. What's actually in there, Tony? Is that some Vinho Verde in there already?
No, it normally is. It normally is, and you have bigger ones too. But that's where I have my coffee in the morning with my. Today was pão de ló from yesterday, and a friend of mine where I had Easter lunch yesterday, and so she made and it's you would say, like, I mean, she's like a she cooks great. I mean, it goes without saying, right? Her name is Dona Fatima, and she's my they're like my adopted family, they're very good friends. So then, my best friend, like my bro, he's not here. He's in Madeira, and so that's another region you got to talk about too, about the food. You know, the limpets, for example. So we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
we did that last week. That's an amazing area too.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and it says, you know, hey, we have extra food and stuff. No, I don't want food. Give me that pound cake, right? O pão de ló, which is typical for the Easter, you know, especially in Easter time, along with the foulard, etc. It says, just give me that because that'll be my breakfast in the morning. And so, like, you dip it, you know, as like you were saying before, Carl, like the French or even, you know, maybe the British as well, that they just go and you know, like with the croissant. Well, I had my pão de ló.
Very
So
good.
Tony, here's my question for you. So on a day like this, where you're sitting at a table and you've got friends and family around, and you've got like a whole arrangement of food, and then after that you're going to go in coma. Before the coma, how does it start? Like, what is the starter? What is the middle? What is the whatever? So everyone gets a very good idea of how food death can happen.
Okay.
In Portugal.
It starts out slowly. You start out with the appetizers. Okay, so yesterday I'll break it down to you like yesterday. I mean, you know, and so we had boiled shrimp. You know, the big, you know, so you're peeling it. So that's the appetizer, and you know, with a little bit of cheese or a little bit of ham and broa or bread, etc. So like,
killing me already.
Start off that, you know, slowly with a vinho branco. I mean, again, it's his own. He makes his own wine. So we had his own wine, right? So and it was delicious, and he mixed it up with a little bit of alvarinho. Delicious. I thought it was like, and the color. You know, when you look at agricultural wine, I learned from my dad how to make wine and stuff. And his was always a little bit yellowish, right? And the agricultural wine is generally a little bit, you know, because you don't put any additives or preservatives or any of that stuff to make the color look beautiful, like you see it in a nice wine bottle, right? Like it's that clear white. So this one is like more golden, right? But this color was just like, man, the level of I would say. I thought it was a wine that you bought, and he says, no, it's mine. And I says, really, with the parts of alvarinho. So you have that, and we kind of cheers, and then we're talking, and what's going on, you know, like, you know, when we get together. So we're talking for like maybe half hour, 40 minutes, just appetizers and talking about life and everything and how beautiful and what we're happy to be, you know. So that sort of thing, conversation, and then. Okay, then, you know, oh no, before actually the cheese and the thing, there's a Porto wine or Favaios or a martini, martini con cerveja, which is like, you know, you have the martini with beer, which is something I could never understand, but I like it actually. You know, when I had it and I tried it like years ago, I would say you mix it up and like, you know, okay, I have the martini, which is the Asti Cinzano, right? Or just by itself or on the rocks with maybe a little bit of like a peel of lemon or something there, maybe with some olives and stuff. So you start off with the Porto wine and a sweet. We had these little, you know, in Easter time, it's very typical. You have these little miniature sweets, right? So we're there. So it started there. And then it goes on to the appetizers. And then comes we have yesterday, she didn't want to make cabrito. And I said, that's fine. So she made this beautiful beef stew, like, you know, just orlof, like in the oven and stuff. And then with some brownish also potatoes, you know, and then rice and then salad. So it starts and you're there and it's, I mean, you don't have to eat as much. I mean, I think it's all about being guloso. I'm a guloso guy, you know, it's about gula, right? You know,
you've got two other golosos on the screen with you right now who are really hating you right about now.
You don't need to eat as much. You don't need to eat it. You just do it.
What's a goloso?
Goloso means your eyes are not like your eyes don't get satisfied. You're basically like, you know, going and oogling.
Eat with your eyes.
Like Gary would like oogle Sophia Loren. That's basically
that makes complete sense. Yes, absolutely. Wow.
And then we have the red wine to go with it. Also from he makes it, and it's the Vinho Verde, and it's spectacular. I remember one year when, you know, my father had passed away, and I did the wine, you know, and kept up the tradition for him making it. And, you know, I'm not that great. It was like my first time doing it myself and stuff. So I kind of went, you know, from for my dad showing me how to do it. So you kind of just like, okay, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and so I took him a bottle, and the color is my dad was just very proud of his wine, right? I mean, he planted the grapes like 30 years ago, so more than 30 years ago, and so actually no, 1980, so 31 years ago, right? And I took him a bottle, and I says, hey, Sir Candido, try. You got to try my wine. And he says, and he tried it. And the thing is, what was missing was the alcohol. Instead of being like at like 10% or 11 or so, mine was like maybe like an 8.5, 9. But that's perfect anyway. You know what I mean? But the taste and, just the taste and the color, because when you have like the Vinho Verde, it just kind of stains your hands. It stains your mouth, your tongue. It's blue. You need to like, it starts there, right away. But yeah, then afterwards, it's the desserts, and forget about desserts. That's where you enter like in a shock, in a coma, really, because then you're like, your eyes, you don't know. Should I have a little bit of this? No, I'm gonna have a little bit of this. No, I'm gonna have a little bit of this. A little bit of this. A little bit of this. So it just, I think.
Here's the deal, Tony. Here's my question to you, Tony. Here's my question to you. How many people picked you up to take you home?
Nobody. No.
Well, you walked home on your own.
They had to throw me out. They had to get me out of there because I wanted to probably sleep. No, I'm joking. That was the thing. Since we're under lockdown, I had friends of mine, so many friends of mine. That's something I'm blessed to have, and just in clients that I call my friends, and they invited me. One invited me to go and he has a beautiful house on the river, right in the Minho River. And to have lunch there. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's a great, when you have, and then I had another friend of mine, client that's here in town. I had lunch with him on Wednesday because I couldn't do it. He actually invited me for Sunday lunch. But since we're under lockdown, you can't go in between counties, right? Os conselhos. So I had to stay here, but I stayed right in the village, and I said, that's perfect. I'll leave the car. If I need to, then I'll just walk home. But
I thought you'd had those 3 lunches yesterday. But thankfully they were spaced out, and it's great. We're lucky to have you here today. I think after that assault on the Constitution yesterday, but that
was the thing. I think I don't know if I slept overnight. I was up till like 4 a.m. with some friends talking on the social platforms at like 3, 4 a.m, and we were talking about real estate. We were talking about life, talking about a lot of stuff, and I was thinking like, yeah, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to sleep because like as we invited me, and I thank you so much for having the opportunity to be here, Carl and Frank, and being alongside you guys. And because, like when you called me up and I said, yeah, absolutely. No way. I wouldn't miss this opportunity. Talk about food and wine. No, I don't like that. And, and so,
yeah,
I
don't like it.
No. I grew to learn food, about the food and the wine. You got to remember when I moved here like 20 years ago, and you're, fit body, you want to go to the beach and you have the muscles showing your abs and stuff, So when I come here on holiday, I say, Mom, I want grilled chicken with broccoli and steamed broccoli and stuff. I'll help you make it. Just have those things there. I'll cook it, but just go to the market, buy like 2 months supplies, chicken breasts, because that's all I would eat. And, like she says, no, you don't get the chicken breast. We have here the chickens. And so she's like, like 10 or 20 of them at a week, like, they're gone. And then it's just like, and you start to learn the food and all the mixtures of taste, sweet, sours. I love those mixtures, and the wine. I started to grow. I had no idea. It's like going back to school. So it was a fun thing coming here, like learning about the culture, learning about the food. It's not where I grew up, so I mean, anybody could do it if they want. And I think it's one of those love affairs that I have, and the passion about Portugal is definitely the food and the people. That's
yeah.
Right?
We have to give up on our bikini bods. I think we'll let that go. Lee McGrady, better late than ever. Good morning, people. Hopefully, we'll be with Lee tonight. The Fresh Air team are making up their minds about whether we're having a show tonight. But gardening Q&A tonight after 6 o'clock with the head gardener there, Lee McGrady. Thanks for being here this morning as well, Lee. Wayne's here. Bon dia, todos. Quite a few people.
Dia, Wayne.
Bit of a Sunday afternoon blowout, and they're just sort of rolling in front of their laptops this morning. Yeah, we buy olive oil from the roadside. It's nicer than that sounds, actually. The olive oil looks fantastic. €6 a litre over here. but we do have one tree out the front. Maybe we can do something with it. Well, you never know, do you? Good luck with that process and your pressing. You should be able to get at least maybe 50 or so centiliters from one tree. Bon dia, Maxine, to you. How are you this morning? Jacqueline from Nazaré. Bon dia from Nazaré from Jacqueline there. Eyes bigger than the tummy. That's the phrase, isn't it? To put it into the idiom we understand there. Portuguese cozinha is an acquired taste, says Gary, but it kind of fits the same category in the UK as tripe, haggis, faggot, sweetbreads, etc. They're things you had when you were young and meals had to stretch between families. I don't know if that's selling it really, but we get the gist. Thank you. You are like the energized bunny, says Shelley. Yeah, your energy. I mean, given that you were up till 3 or 4 this morning and you had that massive Easter feast yesterday, you're remarkable, Tony. Your passion for Portugal and all things Portuguese just emanates from the screen here. And we need you in the man cave as well. So if you'll bless us with your presence in there sometime, I'm sure you'll have some excellent stories to share.
Hey, Victoria.
And Victoria is here as well, who I'm sure will want to meet up with you when she comes over to the mini. I can see Victoria from Atlanta, Georgia, living a kind of bohemian life, Bohemian Benson there in the Minho, because I think there are a lot of artistic and creative people up there. It's an overlooked part of the country. We were talking about this article, weren't we? Should we go back to it?
Yes.
20 tasty ways to eat your way through Portugal. We've managed to get to number 4. Lisbon's gourmet awakening. I mean,
that's not my picture. That one there, the Bel Canto, that's a picture that I got off the net because you can't get. I couldn't make it up any better than that, and so I think they'll appreciate the free publicity. Maybe I'll get a free dinner there sometime.
Well, maybe that's why you did it. So if you are watching Bel Canto, if you could organise a reservation for Tony
for 3 of us, right? For the 3 of us, and maybe the 100 people listening or 200 listening will all be would like to join.
But we've got
with a guaranteed 5 on 5 review.
What is going on though here? Because I think Frank and I have got mixed feelings about this real sort of high end cuisine stuff. Because in many ways it doesn't fit entirely, does it, with the ideas we have about Portuguese food, grandma's food, mum's food, home cooking, and then we take it to another level here. How's this working out in Portugal? Do Portuguese people not find this a little bit pretentious sometimes? No disrespect to anybody here, but it is quite a culture shock, isn't it? Tony, what do you think?
Well, I think chefs like Avilés, for example, which is probably leading the way there with Bel Canto, Henrique Pessoa, also, you have so many of them. I mean, you have like Chef Rui Paula here in Matosinhos. You go down to the Algarve to Gusto, okay, in the Conrad Hotel, and we're talking about 2-3-star Michelin, okay, and that's something that Portugal in the last few years has been able to. You always have that like gourmet, like scene going into New York City and or Los Angeles or Paris or London and a lot of other, and so Lisbon and Porto and a lot of other, even in Coimbra, they're awakening to mixing. And that's what's great, is that you have a way to present it that is just, wow, it's like picture. I mean, it's like, like a photograph that you comes to your plate. I don't even want to eat it. I just want to look at it because it's beautifully, like a little bit, just enough of that spark of, even a dessert, like a little bit of chocolate, or you have that vinaigrette, just a dot there, and that whole combined. But the flavor of Portugal is in the essence, is in the cuisine. And so you have, and why? Because they have the prime materials. We have the prime materials. So, I mean, you can't mess it up really, so a lot of places. And then of course, the decorations, there's a lot of, restaurants, and yet it's not even about gourmet. I think it's, like these star Michelin restaurants that I've named a few, and they're all, and they're great. And it's because of the service, of course, the star Michelin has to do with a lot, not only of the food, but of the service. And so you can have this like service, 5-star service, right? And maybe in a local restaurant, and they also do it, like a lot of younger chefs, they're adapting, going towards, like I have a friend of mine, her name is Amaya, and she's not only she's a culinary chef, but also a teacher, right? And even whenever they invite me over their house or going to the restaurant or like everything, and it's like it's beautifully done up, but with the authentic Portuguese taste, and that doesn't go because the materials are what it's all about, So yeah, it's a new scene. It's a new scene over the last couple of years.
If this is putting Portuguese cuisine on a world map, then I think it's amazing as you're saying. However, looking at that, and Carl and I, we both talked about this kind of food before. We both, because I love Tasco food. Carl and I, we usually talk about, like, the not just the authentic food, but very rustic food, which is the character, which is like the spine of Portuguese cooking. For me, the thing is that, right after having this meal, and you'll have probably like a nice tasting meal and whatever, you'll come out. I know that this will put Portugal on the map, which is amazing. If this is the reason, then it's great. But right after that, all three of us would look at each other and be like, hey, feel like a pizza? Because the thing is, sometimes what usually happens at a lot of these restaurants, I think that they are built for a reason, and these chefs do it for a reason. It's because obviously notoriety and everything else, but the essence of usually these chefs is what they do after the service is over, what they feed all their staff and whatever, and what they eat themselves. And when you go and watch them eat, it's unbelievable. But this food presented like this has a very, very good reason. It's got a photographic reason, and it's obviously does have a reason where it puts them on them, it makes a mark for them, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I want to go and taste this, looking at it.
Absolutely. We should.
Well, it's the best of all worlds, isn't it? We're talking about the lovely rustic food, the tasca food that we like in Portugal. I wouldn't turn this down. And then afterwards, we go out with the chef, don't we? Because we're talking here about I don't know these names. You obviously do, Tony, but this is Ribeira Food, a market food hall. It's fantastic, isn't it? The Time Out Market there. But I can imagine you eat in this restaurant with these guys and the chef and the service team, and then you head down to that Time Out Market or Backstreet Lisbon, and you go and you spend the late evening with them, having an entirely different experience. I think that's going to be an awesome
absolutely. Just two contrasts, right? Like amazing experience with such a huge contrast.
Yes. Now, 20 tasty ways to eat your way through Portugal. Cod has to be on here, doesn't it? King cod, number 5. 365 recipes for cooking salt cod. In fact, there are more than that, you say, Tony. What's your favorite?
Simple, boiled. Okay, or probably it's a toss up between boiled, because you just put it's so easier to make for me. It makes just more sense where you put the codfish, you boil the potatoes, you boil the vegetables, you boil the hard boiled eggs. Okay, and so you have it all together, and it's just easy to for time saving, and then also with some chickpeas. Okay, garbanzo beans, right? The grão de bico. That's a simple with that orange carrot, just to look good, just for the color, right? So you got to look good on a picture. And here it's é cozido. This is bacalhau cozido, or in the oven if you have it com bro. I mean, there's so many ways, but I think for me is about being the simplest. If you have it grilled, charcoal grilled, and you have and you grill at the same time. So you have like these green, red, yellow peppers, and you grill the peppers.
Yeah, okay? That's what I love.
Yeah, with tomato and onion, right? Just tomato and onion.
That's what I love.
Wow, batata, and then the boiled potato with the skin. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that, and really it's all about that.
Tony, it's a good thing everything is opening today, because right after this, I think I'm going to run out this door. I'm going to fly out of this building and go get me some of this amazing food.
I think we all going. I think we're all. I mean, like I said, I have a 12 o'clock lunch date. No, lunch date. It's with my friends. They like me so much that they invite me back. It's about today is the ugalo. From the garden, right? It's not the ones that you see in the supermarket or anything, and so it's I don't know. It's going to be done in the oven and everything. So hey,
Tony, where have you been making these friends? I swear to God, like I've been making friends in the wrong places all my life. It looks like it's like your friend. One has a place near the water. One has this. My friends usually show up in a bicycle and be like, "Hey, Frank, you want to pay for this dinner?"
I'm not offended by that, Frank.
I'll let you in a little secret. I'll let you in a little secret. A lot of my friends own restaurants. And when you talk about the tashkas and or even some more of the higher line, I'm what they call like and of course whether during even throughout this pandemic, what I used to do, promote their menus on Facebook, and just helping out the community. You're a part of the community, and so it's a way to they're your friends, so you promote their business because they whenever I want a table with the client or something, hey, you know what, Tony, don't worry, we got a table for you. And I mean, sometimes I'll tell you a little story about, like, I have this client of mine, friend, that he's actually Spanish, but he's a star, right? So when you go to a restaurant with someone and you're like, hey, can I take a picture? Like, that's why, like, like, we really got to stay away from the beaten paths, then in a corner table where nobody sees you, because so then that way, I mean, he's more known than chocolate, and and I'm next to him, and then people know me too, so é mais conhecido que o chocolate. And so, and we actually closed on his property just a little while back, and it's like celebration, like, what, like, it's lunch, you celebrate, and you have picanha, let's go, because he's a picanha lover, he's just meat lover and stuff, and even his partner, and it's fantastic. And so when you go and I call, hey, I need a table at this time, all right, and they don't take reservations. It's where you go in and you're served. You know how that is, right? It's not like one of those it's a 5-star service, but you pay for only 1 star. And it's just like so cheap. So a lot of friends of mine own restaurants. And again, I'm part of the community. So I go here, I go there, I go there, I go here, I go
well,
there.
here's the thing. Carl and I are your new friends. There's a bromance happening over here. You just keep this picture in mind, and we're not going anywhere. We're as a matter of fact, we're going to be stalking you now. This is going to be a problem for you.
Love it, love it, love it. You know what? Like, you give me an excuse to eat, and I don't need one, but you're giving me one. You're giving me more.
These were the sort of limpets you were talking about. You got some social limpets in the form of me and Frank now. Apparently, with the high end of things, there's a new website developed by the chef's agency called The Art of Tasting Portugal. Early days for the site, but looks promising for promoting Portuguese cuisine. So from every angle, it's being covered now. And from Victoria, I think another friend you've made today, Encantada.
From Georgia, right? She's from Atlanta, I think. She had mentioned. I remembered she Victoria was from. So hi, Atlanta. I used to live not in Atlanta, but close to there when I lived out in Texas, and that's why when you say the sheriff and like that's always packing. I'm always packing.
We're not going to get through this article, but I've put the link in the comments. It's not going to happen. I'm thinking, at past, I'm thinking, are we going to do it? Are we going to? No, we're not going to do it. But you can find it for yourself there. Let's just do cheese quickly, because I want to find out about where's the accent from, and get our appetites with your best bit of real estate probably before you go as well. But say queijo, you would say cheese when you're taking a photograph. This photograph here, don't worry, it's a little bit out of focus. You haven't been having too much Vinha Verde or Aguardente this morning. But your favorite cheese then, please, Tony, from Portugal?
The Serra.
Really?
And but you know what I like? I like cheese as an appetizer, but I really love it as a dessert with like a compote and some crackers, or like when you finish, and when you have that little bit, I save just that X amount of wine at the end of the bottle just to have the dessert with the cheese. And so whether it's a marmalade, or a compote or something, it's just, and again, the mixtures. I love the mixtures of sweet and sour. And so the queijo de serra, I mean, all cheese, or like even goat cheese, like, cured and mixed, or even by itself, or mixed in with sheep and also cow and stuff. And, when you get them together, it's, with, jamon, with the, they have the, and you'll get to that in the end, like towards the end, about the wild pigs, right? The pata negra and stuff, and it's something that just cheese is, say cheese,
Yes. And it wasn't until I came to Portugal that I was served honey next to cheese, and the marmalade thing. That's so interesting, and it's about the contrast of flavors, isn't it? So we're going to solve that mystery of where your wonderful accent is from. I wonder, you'll probably talk us through a fabulous one of your top properties at the moment. But I think it wouldn't be unfair to not go through these very quickly. So please try not to talk, everybody, for a moment. 7, Porto's Tasty Trinity. Then we're just going to take your drool to peak drool and peak rumble of the belly now. Going.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to stop there. I have to talk about this. It's a friend of mine. The friend of mine owns this restaurant, and he's not too far from you guys. Okay, Oshala, and you got to go there. It's an experience, and you see the wine cellar. I even made a video that like, hey, wake me up, I'm dreaming. No, I'm in Oshala, because it's just when you have all the wine bottles. I mean, it's just, and the service. My friend Jose there. I mean, it's just, and you have a nice view of the marina, of the water, and it's in Ovada, okay? And the name of the restaurant is Oshala. That picture, I went there. This was like before I went down to Peniche sometime. Like I had a deal there to go. And it was in October, so the last time I was there, November, and it's like, oh man, I hope I don't take so long to come back. So I'm glad I went, at least towards the end of the year. But it's one of my favorites. It's too bad they're not so close to here. But Oshala is just the whole. It's an experience. Just leave it at that. But that's where that picture came from.
So looking a bit like a risotto, and or as you Americans would say, a risotto. But Portugal's arroz dishes are unjustly neglected. You're absolutely right there. The use of rice in this way is incredible, and I think we've got a seared giant prawn there, haven't we? A bit of cuttlefish possibly in that arroz dish.
Arroz marisco.
Seafood rice there. Simply named, exquisite to taste, I think. Okay, so we didn't get very far, but wild pig.
Oh my God! I was just, pass that. I don't want to look at that. Here's your taskas.
This is like Gary's cellar now. Gary, some inspiration for you. No, it's not. I'm not kidding. The man cave in Alvaza is not unlike this, but this is visually stunning. What's happened here?
Yeah, Carl, Gary's. Please don't discount Gary's man cave. The main difference would be Gary's man cave in the middle has a stripper's pole.
Exactly. That's all that's missing from this picture, right?
That's all that's missing.
Yes, there's a
you see hanging those connectors, the where they serve the wine and stuff, hanging the wine barrels. That's your typical tashkas, and that's what you're talking about. When you go into the older cities, or or even in the small villages, there's no. You get a 5-star service by paying 1 star in the tashkas, and they're really popular, and to see
they're amazing. But you know what, Tony, sometimes like I've gone to these taskas, and the weirdo that I am, I'd be like looking up and I'd be going, is this thing gonna fall in my head one of these times? Like I hope it doesn't. And then you start thinking it's probably been there for ages. It's never gonna fall on your head. Just eat your food.
You've got to be careful of any low-hanging kanekas, haven't you? Really, be careful where you hang your kanekas. Okay, scrolling through and scrolling past another diplomatic outrage this morning, outpacing Italians. What? Penny, of course, representing the Italians here today. Albertella. Yes. Well, let's move on from that risotto comment there. Oh wow, looks incredible. Give me cheese over dessert any day. Yeah, I think a lot of people are with you there, Denise. My new best friend, it's official. Victoria, Antoni, and morning all from Andrew Gilchrist.
Hey, Andy.
Joined us to see this wonderful view inside.
Bon dia, alegria from Leiria.
Yes, indeed. So much wine. We daren't start that conversation. We've had a bit of it, haven't we? The legacy of the empire. What is that? Oh, it's a curry, isn't it?
This is an Angolan dish, and so there's a lot of mixtures of cultures. Cape Verde, Angolan, Brazilian, where you have the muqueca from Brazil. So there's a lot of, the Venezuelans, so immigrants that were there, they're coming back now, and they're coming to Portugal. So they're bringing their culture and their food with them. And, they're starting to pop up in the last 10, 15 years, even in the scenes in Lisbon, in the major cities. And so it's just, this is a typical Angolan dish.
I'll unmute myself. This is tremendous. That looks beautiful. And I have to mention this. Portuguese traders introduced chili to India, would you believe, and took tempura to Japan. India's vindaloo curry descends from Vinha da Ilhos, a wine and garlic marinade. Isn't that incredible? Ooh. The effect of the Portuguese, what's it called? Diaspora around the world. It's quite incredible. From my part of the world here, the suckling...
Leitão
Melhada is built is a town built on suckling pig. It so is, and that's just down the road from me. Festival of fruit. Are we in Madeira or just generally in Portugal here? This lovely fruit display. Oh yeah,
This
Madeira.
is all over the place, man.
That's all over the place. Madeira does have beautiful array of like that, and also the flower market in Madeira is beautiful to go just there because it's so colorful. You see that I mean, you know, like it's old, you know, there's nothing, you know, you have old wood and everything. It's just typical like that, you know, and even the few new markets, of course, have been renovated, but just the old will never go out of style.
Absolutely.
Sardines.
I say that more and more. Saintly sardines. Look at those beauties. On a bit of cornbread, possibly there. Some of them are the aforementioned potatoes. Edible oddity is. Oh yes, we've talked about this, haven't we?
Yeah.
This is the lamprey, isn't it? And a rich dish. And is that the one cooked in the blood there, Tony?
Yes, that's the typical arroz lampreia. You can have lampreia like that, or you have it bordaleza, which is without the rice, and where you're on these little crackers and stuff, but it's basically it's lamprey, and you know, even you have smoked lamprey. Did you know? I've tried it. It's one of those dishes that from January till March, April, especially like here in the Minho River or in the Douro. So there's a few even in the Tejo. So it's a river. You know, they go out, they spend their whole lifetime in the Atlantic, and they're sucking on, you know, sharks, and they're just, you know, all, and then they come back to spawn, right? And so they use the rivers and they go up, and that's when, and it's one of those oddities. You either you like it or you don't like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. The more Marmite dishes here than anywhere, I suspect, in the world. Market magic, and there was a time at market that I mentioned before. You got to go there. It is very touristy, but still, it's not only touristy. The real life is there, isn't it? That local market next door to the Time Out Food Market is exquisite. Absolutely beautiful place.
Yes.
18 pastel de nata's rivals. The other desserts are available.
Pastel de Tantugo.
We will forget you. We'll never forget you, pastel de nata, but you do have cousins and brothers and sisters that we also like to feast upon. Bifana versus Prego. Oh, stop. Goats and other animals. There's a tasty looking steak. I think I might have to go now and eat. This is unbearable. That is a...
Anyone?
Yes. Sardines, yum. Bon dia, Kifoma. That's Kifoma. That's a kind of what's happening, isn't it? I think, which is
no. That's it's. I'm hungry. What? I'm amazed that I'm hungry. I am. Kufam. I'm so hungry.
My Portuguese is so terrible. Sorry, Rita, I didn't pick up on that. I thought we were just being cool with each other there. But yeah, it's true. Terrible hunger has developed. And I forget to eat on a Monday morning. Morning a little late as we're having Philomena Monday lessons. Don't forget the brilliant Philomena this Friday, of course. Philomena Friday. We will see her back in this place with Portuguese language and culture. Our guide on this wonderful journey. Well, one of our many guides. Tony has been seconded into the adventure now. From Rachel. Good morning, Rachel. Bon dia, Tony. I was wondering if Oxalia is a Brazilian restaurant.
Portuguese, and they have. I mean, I'll be real quick about it. The experience that you get. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. Maybe I shouldn't. No, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to go there. It's not Brazilian. It's Portuguese. Reserve a table. I would look it up. It's in Ovar. Okay, and you know, if you're there, then instead of coming back around, like go down to the end, take the boat ride over the river, and you're in Aveiro, and you're in Costa Nova. And you know, then it's a different experience because it's like to the boat. It's like a half hour by car, like 40 minutes. You know, along the river going there, and you just take the ferry over into Aveiro, and you're in the Costa Nova and eat. And so you're there, and that's beautiful just to see those those striped color houses and stuff like that. So make it a weekend trip or a day trip, even if you come from the south. You come through the motorway, and then you eat there. And then just, you could sleep it on. It's a beautiful boat ride. It's so easy. Like just 20 minutes, you could take a nap there, so.
So here we go. Some more Portuguese. Oi, tem fome. So yeah, I'm hungry. Beautifully done, Andrew, there. I get it now. Too bad for vegetarians, says Rita. Well, that is the case so often. But having said that, if you go to Aveiro, you can go to doTERRA, which is an amazing chain with beautiful vegetarian and vegan food. They're really doing a good job of it, I think. And as much as I like to eat meat, I love to go
over Portugal. All over
So,
Portugal. Again, the prime materials are great. You know, and
yes,
it's not about just potatoes, right? But it's the veggies. It's a growing market, and they're doing wonderful. It was like the Michelin star restaurants popping up and everything. Vegetarians. I mean, it's about culture and people coming in because Portuguese, they're probably not, but the younger for sure. It's growing the veggie here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we need to find out about this Portuguese accent of yours, Antonio, Tony. What I can't place it. North, middle, south. Where's it from?
Everywhere. I'm all over Portugal. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, I love to travel. I like going to other countries and about cultures. It's not about staying at a hotel on the beach. That's boring. Maybe when I was 20 years old to show off, my appealing sensual body with the rib, the six. I didn't have 8 packs. I only had about 6. I was missing 2, but I had 6. So, and it's a different kind of whether you go to Ibiza and stuff like that. That's younger. That just doesn't do it for me anymore. So like going to Brazil, going to I'm actually probably trying to go to Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, and Panama in June if all things go on a trade mission. So I mix. You know what? I love what I do. So I kind of join the travel and the business. It's for me. And if I go down to the Algarve or Lisbon or whatever, hey, I know I got to stop here at this restaurant, and because I got to have the leitão there, or I know I got to have there, or I'm gonna have there, or etc. So we went to Mirandela, okay, Mirandela, and you know that sausage, the mirandesa and the pasta mirandesa, right? And so I went there with the client of mine as well, and it's like you're there, and it's just like for me, it's just getting there and experience it. It's about work is what we do, but I think when I get an opportunity to go with the client, like sometime during this week, I'm going to be down in Coimbra, and so I'm excited and leitão. So even with you guys, I'm going to be with them. So I don't know how much time I'll have, and so. But just going in all over Portugal and experiencing it, and that's for me. And over the last 20 years, me living here has given me that opportunity. I've been blessed to find a balance in life, and kind of between what you love to do that you didn't know that you love doing it. I mean, everybody loves investing, right? And buying and selling homes and etc. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't like to make a little bit of money every once in a while, right? So, and so, but doing it in something that, it's like Confucius says that if you find a job you love, you don't have to work a day in your life, right? Well, I should have probably done this like 30 years ago or 40 years ago. And so it kind of just blended together, and you start to discover Portugal and you fall in love with it. And everybody, the more you discover, and the people and the food, and, there's so many beautiful things to see, when you go to take a boat ride from Peniche to the, on a Sunday, afternoon to the islands of Berlengas, and, so many things, or you go, there's so much stuff, and I kind of mix it up, but I wasn't born here, so
you are an amazing composite of all these wonderful experiences from around the world, Tony. News just in, though, you say Confucius said that. Apparently it was a Portuguese migrant in China who whispered it to him, and then he made it his own. So the Portuguese
probably, I think we can all say it, but
absolutely. And Pete's dobbing Diane in here. I bet you ate it though, Pete. Diane murdered a chicken and gutted it yesterday, Joseph. Lovely to see you. Now, Pete, what I think probably has gone on there is Diane has assimilated into the culture very quickly and is behaving like grandma. Like, while all the men are sort of like, well, how do we do this? We want chicken for dinner. How are we going to do this? Again, do we use the old broomstick method or the sharp knife or whatever? And the grandma's just saying, get out of the way. Just goes in and deals with it, and then before you know it, it's been gutted and some chicken is served up. So you're very lucky to have her, I say, Pete, if you want to eat chicken. I have to say the Portuguese eat like royalty, says Andrew. One of the first things I love about my early visits to Portugal. Can't wait to go to the Azores to try the seafood there. Send us a postcard, Andrew, from the Azores there with your lovely experience of seafood there. So finally then, today, a little bit of a look at some of these wonderful properties. This is the life you're talking about. Selling, talking to people about their beautiful properties, selling them, meeting buyers who want to buy beautiful properties. What's your daily special today? What would you choose from what you've got on your books at the moment, Tony?
Well, I'm all about like the rustic properties.
Oh, okay.
giving them a life and a soul back. So renovating them. So when you see old properties like these, those are the ones that I'm more attracted to. But that's just me because that's, you got to remember, even up to Coimbra in this area here, we have a lot of mountains. So they used basic materials years ago to build. There was no cement 100 years ago, right? So, they have to get the stone from way up high in the mountains, bring it down, and they put it together with sand in between and stuff, so they kind of, I'm more prone to the rustic houses. I like the modern house. I do like it because, for example, like this is a renovated property. It's 155,000 euros, and 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and I just love has this great balcony there. You have a view of the countryside and the mountains. You know what I mean? Like, so sitting out there, al fresco dining or something. Oh. Exactly. It's a beautiful terrace there, and it's one of those that it's fantastic.
It's fantastically priced as well, isn't it? 155,000 euros.
Brand new.
A renovation of a rustic property there.
Exactly.
That is superb, isn't it? How lovely. Fantastic. Just have a little tour inside now.
Thank you, Carl.
May I commend you on your property photographs here, because we do see
That's my business partner.
We do see some howlers. There are no black bin liners in this one, or blue barrels, or people lying on the balcony.
There was no guy in a blue Speedo on the balcony, was there, Carl?
No, we're almost missing it. I love that.
My business partner, like I said, it's not behind every great man. It's on the side or on the front. She's my boss. She's the CEO, and so she tells me, do this, and I do it because but the pictures and videos, all that stuff, that's her. That's really her.
Well, our saying here is behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes, and we definitely get that. I love that 155,000 property just too far north. But the way we've talked about the north and the Minho, I think that's going to confuse people even more. They've thought to themselves, well, where do I go? Do I go to the Algarve? Do I go to Coimbra? Do I go to Lisboa? Do I go to Porto? And now there's another choice that Tony has put firmly on the map, the Minho region. It sounds like a lot of fun up there, like a well-kept secret, I would say. Better property photos than most. So the doc agreeing with me there. So there it goes. That's a beautiful, beautiful picture.
If you go on the homepage and you see on the featured properties, go on the homepage, okay?
Okay, all right.
And you'll see like what kind of properties I love selling, and that really is a market, and that's what everyone likes, because they like to see. If you see that the first one right there with the pool there,
yeah.
Okay, if you click on that.
Yep.
That's actually, this property was listed, and because it was during lockdown, and she lives in Spain, so she couldn't come here to do it. So I had my friend Pedro Ferrari. He's a professional photographer, and he does also. I mean, it's about, when you say professionalism in the pictures, again, you gotta, it's about the image, right? And just getting the right image to see somebody, and like even just staging it and stuff. You'll see some home stage. He brought like the croissants and the cheese and the ham, took a picture outside. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Just to stage.
This is how it should be done. Where is this?
If you click on that, and you'll see, like, that's the basic property, maybe 80%, 70% of the properties I sell, or in those range there, like,
Tony, come on, look, that bed linen, you just want to jump on there, don't you? A really nicely done children's bedroom. Look at that. That's beautiful. Whoa, look at that for a beautiful reception room, lounge room. Incredible. I bet the views out of there are wonderful. Rustic, single-story, 3-bedroom villa with pool. Now, where is this? Where is Mentrestido, Villanova de Cerveira? Where is that?
It's a small village, real small, and real close. It's about 45 minutes from by the motorway from Porto. And what's great about it is it has, I think what makes it easier for Portugal over the last couple of years is that, like, the motorways are just easy to get around. And I've actually say people, hey, you know what? You have some beautiful motorways, like because you see the countryside and when you're driving. And so everything is just so easy access, whether you're going to Guarda or whether you're going to the interior parts of Portugal, and the Beiras Interiores and everything. The accesses are great. I mean, and so here, Mentrestido is like, 10 minutes from Vila Nova de Cerveira, so another 15 minutes to the coastline. So you're right on the coast. You're right over the bridge and or right over the border to Spain. You know what I mean? So it's just like 10 minutes. This is the village next. My next door. I'm in a small village called Sapardos in Vila Nova de Cerveira. And Vila Nova de Cerveira is the county, right? Or Conselho. And Mentestido is a village of this county. So it's my neighbor village and really quaint, quiet. The typical northern Minhoto village.
Tony, this is incredible. I think you've really opened people's eyes up to this part of the world now. I mean, I knew there was something going on up there, but you've taken this to a new level. And sorry, everybody, I was drooling over the property pictures, and you couldn't see them. So let me do that.
Professionally done. Normally, it's my partner, my business partner, Anita, but because it was during lockdown, we wanted to get some pictures of the property, and so. We hire. Well, he's a friend, so I mean, I had to buy him lunch and stuff, but it was well worth it.
Quite right too. This is a beautiful. So I was talking about these pictures. You couldn't see them, but this is how it should be done. You're passionate about Portugal, all things Portuguese, about the food and the property, and I think you're taking things to a new level. It sounds like you have been doing for the last decade or so, a couple of decades here. These were the sheets I was talking about. Well, you want to feel those against your skin, don't you? After a big blowout meal, little snooze on there, and who knows what.
Proper Vegas sheets over there. I like that.
What goes on those sheets stays on those sheets. Oh, I could have probably put that better. So there's a fantastic bunk bed situation there, and this is the lounge I was talking about. I look at that. That's a luxury, isn't it? I love that. Love that room. Beautiful.
The rustic ceiling.
The rustic ceiling. There we go. Really beautiful. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Superb. Really good job on the
heated swimming pool.
and a heated. Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be a little bit cooler up in the north, so you do want that, don't you?
Yeah, it's what's great about it. Like for example, like if you cover the pool, you leave the pool on overnight, right? And it does get chilly and maybe a little bit, not frost, but there's dew, a little bit of morning dew, and so even your grass is wet. It didn't rain, but it just accumulates. But if you cover the pool and you let it stay, when it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, the sun is rising there, and you just dip in and it's just nicely 26 degrees, 27 degrees, however you want to keep it. I mean, that's just the way to go. I mean, there's no better way to do it. It's like, or at midnight, a midnight bath, in the winter days, like we get like maybe like today, it's going up to like 70 degrees here, well, 70 Fahrenheit, which is like 21 degrees. And that's not, it happens a lot in the winter as well. But some days you have like 15, 16 degrees, right? And so it's nice and sunny and it's warm enough where you can just, if you have a heated pool, that's the way to go. Even in winter, you use it. And a pool, it doesn't add value to a home. That's just my opinion. It doesn't add. More better to do it with the kitchen. People value more a kitchen or a bath, etc. But having a pool is a privilege, or a bonus. And if you can have it, get it heated.
Interesting. Thank you for that. So much value from Tony this morning. That compares very favorably. Yeah, somebody sent us a link while we were live on the Man Cave on Friday night, and we decided to have a look at this property. It's one of those classics where they were like a load of well, let me just put it like this without being too rude. The photos didn't do it justice in the way that you're doing property justice with those wonderful photographs. DJ is checking out the website now. DJ, we need to connect, and we might have connected already because people have these names on YouTube, and I don't know when they've just reached out to me as John Williams, whether it's the same person who is DJ on YouTube. So have we connected or not? Because we've been exchanging some interesting messages, and I want to make sure we're connected by email. We sorted the pictures out there. Thank you for letting me know, everybody.
Hey, Carl, you'll get a referral commission if DJ wants to come out. Just work with him. Come out here. We'll buy him lunch. We'll buy him lunch. We'll get him drunk and getting him signing some contracts. And that's the way I do business on a table.
All right. This guy, you got to stay away from this guy. Bromance is kind of cooling down now.
And I feel like I should change my name a bit because it is sounding a bit like a sort of property brotherhood or something, isn't it? Frank, Tony, and Carlos. And it should need to be Carlos.
How you doing, Tony? How you doing?
Tony and Frank.
I can totally see Tony in his element, man. Bless you, man. You sound like you do very well, and for very, very good reason. They should pretty much hand you the ambassadorship of Mino, because it's the way you represent that area, man.
Mino
a lot of passion.
This is, everyone has their place. Okay, that's the way I see it. When I lived in San Francisco is where I belonged. Okay, and that's where I did everything. When I lived in New York, when I lived in New Jersey, when I lived in Chicago, when I lived in Texas, when I lived in Florida, I'm living here now. I'm in Portugal, and I'm in the Mino. And this is, hey, don't mess with the Mino. Don't mess with Texas. Don't mess with the Mino. I'm packing.
Don't mess with the magical Mino. People are understanding this. Mino, it says Rita, really is the well-kept secret of Portugal. It's magical. Peter, pareço camarão. What's he doing to his prawn there? I'm not sure.
He looks like a prawn.
Looks like a prawn.
Is like he looks. Pareço, or it means I look like a prawn. So maybe he's red. I don't know. Is he blushing? Is he blushing?
But those, yes. Oh, okay, got it. Those Portuguese lessons aren't being wasted. Fantastic, Pete. You never know when you're going to need that. I'd love to get into photography and photographing properties. No camera good enough yet, though. Lol. These pics are lovely. Yeah, they are outstanding.
Yeah.
Makes such.
Those are professional.
Absolutely.
Those are professional. I mean, that's a professional. Even my business partner. It's all about professionalism and getting the right message. I mean, you know what? Even staging it. Like, I mean, even if somebody, I would never take pictures of like a house that's just out of. I mean, how can you sell anything like that? How can anybody even want to buy? I mean, if you put it like that, then it's got to be like half the price. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. But often
some of the pictures that I've seen, Tony, have just been like ridiculous. It's like the picture is like not even focused. Like there's 3 pictures in a row of a faucet from different angles. There's like a picture of like grandma's underwear hanging from one side. From the side, there's like a coat. It's dark in the back, and you're just like, what are you doing? Why are you killing yourself like this? You haven't even shown. And when you look at the property, even though everything is dark, you're just like, what? Where did you learn how to become a real estate agent? You should probably quit now.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? You got to know your market, because sometimes grandma's underwear could seal the deal. You never know. You got to know your market.
With the Verde wine, definitely. With the Vinho Verde wine, definitely will seal the deal for sure.
Peter, Rachel, this is brilliant. Peter, good thing you look like a shrimp and not a chicken. Beware of Diane. He's like the psycho music in the background. I had an outdoor pool in Australia, says Andrew, not heated as it was in the tropics, but the maintenance and chemicals and time cleaning is something to be mindful of. Gary will take care of that for you in his shorts and t-shirt.
You have saline, salt treatments, okay, which are very hygienic. Not probably if you're going to be using as a rental property. Because you would need to get the chemicals, with all the COVID and stuff, where you have like a common pool. But if it's a family property, go with the saline, tratamento sal. It's just, and it's so, it's like, it's one of those, the water, I would never, like my eyes would never cry. You can open your eyes underwater. It's just like, so it's a different way to go.
Yes, it is.
And hire Gary Austin as your pool boy.
That's right. That's right. We call him Gary Coke Break Austin, as he casually takes off his t-shirt and throws it to one side. And
Hey, Solo 50 Plus, get in touch with Carl, and you know what? Come on up here into the Mino, and he'll come for the wine. He'll come for the wine and dinner just to accompany you, and I'll show you the properties. But hook up with him. Get in touch with him. It's Solo 50 Plus, right? So get in touch with him, definitely.
We know, Louise, we're on our way. I have noticed that the styling on some real estate advertising is awful. Yes, it's not just the photographs, it's the settings as well, isn't it? I can't even stand it when in the UK they leave the toilet seat up in the bathroom. Oh, she's not happy about that. Yes, it's bad from all sorts of angles, even from your feng shui, going back to Confucius there. Jacqueline, I've seen a photo of just a door handle. Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what gets into these people's heads. Like my colleagues, and I mean, they really need to go, just go back to school and learn how it's about. Okay, it's about marketing, but it's about presenting, your best light, your product. Whether you're selling a shoe or whether you're selling a home, it's you only get one chance to make that first impression, And so,
Tony, I'll tell you my favorite. My wife and I, we went to see a property. So this guy shows up very casually on a Saturday, and like it's like he's just come from the gym. I'm like, all right, cool, it's a Saturday, not a problem. So we go and see this property, and as I'm like asking him, he quotes the first of all, as I'm asking him, he quotes the property 20,000 less than what the listed price is. 20,000 less.
Oh, you don't do that.
And then no. This is the rock star moment. This is the rock star moment. Then I asked him. So like, what is like the heating source in this house and whatever. He goes, I don't know. Did you know what the heating source is? He was asking my wife, and he's selling the property. I'm like, dude, can I take a picture with you and just make you famous? Because
I work, Frank, I work with 80 to 90% of my clients are buyers. Okay. It's buyers. And, I work with a lot of other colleagues. I don't have a lot of listings. I maybe have like 3. And these listings are usually properties that I've sold in the past. Like, I mean, I just recently sold a property in 12 years. I sold it 3 times, and I work on a referral. Like I learned a long time ago, I build relationships, not transactions. Right. And so those are if I want listings, I go get them from my other clients. And what's up, Carol? What was that? What's that all about? Something you read, I guess, right? Or you saw.
I'm still laughing at the photo of the door handle.
Yeah, and people, like I think it's absurd. I mean, it's not even absurd; it's illegal. Okay, because once you got to have a listing contract. Okay, whether it's exclusive, and that's the way to go. If you want to sell a property, I would recommend it, or it can be an open contract. But you got to have it documented on that contract. You got to have the conditions, the price, what the seller is going to pay as a commission. You got to have all the right paperwork. You got to have the energy certificate. You can't even put it on the market. You know what I mean? Like, we're working on the energy certificate. No, you got to have the energy certificate. It's just the law. So you follow the law. And you know what? That's why. If I list the property, and especially the ones that I already sold, I already know what the property is. So I know, like all the documentation and everything. And so that's a horror story, Frank, when you say that, like,
No. And you know what, another thing to top it off, we went to we had seen like this house, and we had seen like the top floor, like, in this property, you've got like the top floor where you've got like the bedroom like this, and like, it's nicely done. So we tried to get to the top floor. Instead, we got all the way up to the roof, and I was like, hey, where's the top bedroom?
That's in the Algarve, right?
He says,
what properties? That's in the Algarve, I think, right?
It's not in the Algarve. It was in this property was in central Portugal. So we went all the way to the top. We went to the roof. We were just like, where's the top room? He goes, I don't know. Which room are we talking about? So we pulled up the listing right in front of him. We go, it's still here. You've got this top room over here. He goes, this room never existed.
Yeah, I think my colleagues. It's illegal to do that. Again, I work with a lot of buyers. I'm part of the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, and so we work on a strict code of ethics. And granted that you have that part of NAR that. Also like everywhere else, maybe but it's a presupposition that you would, other colleagues trust you because of it. And then so getting the accredited like ABR, the accredited buyer representation. I have my ABR. I'm working on my CRS, the certified residential specialist, with like 4% of realtors in the US would have it. And it takes, it's very modules and exams and everything, getting your CIPS, certified international property specialist designations. It's going back to school, and you got to learn. I mean, it's just, if you want to be a professional, I mean, I get the job done. I have fun. I mean, that's the most thing. Between getting the job done, I'm in the middle and I have fun. And that's what it is. But when you got to get the job done, we're a professional.
So sorry, I rather confuse things by showing this picture, but this is one of my all-time favorites that I happen to have on hand. And it's not necessarily an offensive picture, there's you get an idea of what's going on in the kitchen. You got a nice studio flat here on a listing on Idealista. You can see there's a whopping great electric water heater, and then your eye is drawn outside to the barrage.
Is that a river? Is that a river?
I think it might be a river and barrage.
Or a lagoon, maybe Orbitus. I don't know the logo of Orbitus.
But my problem with this picture, Tony,
oh, I see it. Is the guy laying down there? That's what I was looking at. What is that blue thing? I mean, that is. Oh my God! I mean, people just just.
What is going on there? Okay, so you get the idea.
Now I know why you're laughing. Now I know why.
Frank is laughing so much. He's broken his connection. Yeah, and why does one need to see how many light bulbs there are in the ceiling? Yes, pools need too much maintenance. River beaches, prior fluviage are the best. Absolutely, Paul and Louise.
I agree with you, Paul. Louise, I agree with you. The river beaches, and there's some beautiful, like in the area of Coimbra, there's some fantastic ones. Arganil, right, in that area there, and just
Arganil. That's right.
And that the Mayalek. No, anyway, it's near Arganil. They have a lot of river beaches, and even the Tejo, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, my Aussie pool was saline, but the evaporation, refilling, cleaning, etc., was $4,000 a month back in the early 2000s. Wow, Carl, control yourself. Yes, order has been returned, but that was a hilarious comment. Saltwater pools are great, but even better, a natural pond. Swimming pool takes a bit of setting up and occasional maintenance in the autumn, but imagine swimming with the fish and the frogs, which again sounds like something. Hey, Frank and Tony will say, "You're gonna go on fish with the. You're gonna go on
fish with the frog."
Again, an awesome show. The energy from three lovely souls and stunning property picks. Great start to my Monday morning. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. Love a saline pool. So nice for your skin. Actually, says Denise, the styling is non-existent mostly. Haven't seen grandma's undies yet though. Lol. And a lovely comment here from Milda, the most informative and funny program ever. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Navendu, this is good. This is good. Sorry to keep you here. Do you need to go, Tony? Because we're
no. I'm trying to. It's the sun. It's a beautiful day, and like where I'm at, and it's right outside my balcony of and so I have this beautiful. I like to see the green around, and that's where I have my morning coffee, and like the sunshine just comes in through here. It rises here, and then it's just a beautiful. So that's why you see like that big white spot. That's not my hair. My hair is white, but that's from the reflection of the sun.
We will finish now. Just
not a problem. I love being here with you guys.
Do you often look at? Is it like CSI Real Estate? Wasn't it that picture in the kitchen?
Merger property.
Love it. Love it.
If a house is purchased where there is no checklist in which buyer knows what he's paying for. Yes, I've seen many houses where you have fungus and many repairs fungus. That's included in the sale price. And many repairs to be done. Why is it does a seller does before purchasing as real estate agents do not care? This is a problem. As you can see, Tony is dealing with this. There's an Ernest who was on with Rizal, working with EXP. Something is changing in Portugal for sure. And you can see Tony is leading the way and has been for years now. And people, I think, are beginning to catch up with him as well. So you're doing an amazing
elevate the quality of professionalism here. The level, it's although we've done great things and real estate existed here before any major brand came. The major brands brought some great contribution, and I strongly, working. I mean, the local guy that knows his local market, that is honest and works with his clients. I mean, he's great too, and the brands help with that. And I just try to elevate and even giving back and showing people how to work correctly because, I want to show a property that to a client of mine that I don't have the listing. Hey, you know what, dude? What the hell? Sorry. Hey, what's going on there? I mean, is it available? Is it not? Or they don't want to work with you because they don't want to split a commission. Oh, we're only going to get 2%. You know what? Just it's just ridiculous, man. And I think you got to get past that, and people got to elevate their level of professionalism and quality here. And it's been doing a lot in that right direction with all the major brands because it's all about education, and that's what they want, right? But real estate is not. People don't look at it like I think they look at it like it's the last thing you do. Oh my God, did you not find anything else to do? You know what I mean? Where you couldn't go to school. Oh, maybe you weren't good enough to be a doctor, but did you have to be a real estate agent, my son? Like that sort of thing. Where people have pity for you, right? Because like it's not looked upon. It's not looked upon, and I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. And anyone around me.
No, you're doing an amazing job, and it is changing here, and it's going to be fun changing it. I feel like I'm part of that, and I'm really looking forward to this process.
It's exciting. It's exciting time to be with it, and it's absolutely.
Yeah, is that a dead body on the balcony? I'd never thought of that, and I should have.
CSC real estate or CSI real estate.
Yeah, I should have probably reported it rather than laughed. Most real estate photos in the UK use a fisheye camera lens to give an impression of larger rooms. Yeah, I mean, you got to go with the with the tricks of the trade in a way, haven't you? And then you go and see it. Keep the pH right. Very little problem if you do that. Gary, the pool expert, he's looking for business this morning. Gary, the guy in the shorts and t-shirt from Al Viagra. When viewing lots of properties, you start to forget which was which, but you will always remember the one with the dead body on the balcony.
the one with the dead body, or the one with the half-eaten breakfast.
Well, yeah. I mean, that I even started a Facebook group with these photos on. I remember all of those. All of those photos, all of those properties. Don't really want to buy them, but I remember the photos. Are container houses legal in Portugal? They are, Navendu, according to planning permission of your local municipality. And finally, here, thank you, Victoria. Great energy on today's show. Love it. Great way to start the week. Thanks, guys. It's our absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have Antonio Barbosa, who we call Tony, here on the show today, of infinitesolutions.pt, infinite-solutions.pt. Let me put that in the comments again, so you know where to find this man if you want to catch up with some. It's the
bromance with Tony. Tony, come on, man. Give us a dance.
Tony Sonoboni. Tony Sonoboni.
There you go.
Tony, you buying the house or what? Am I going to have to call my brother?
I'll make you an offer you don't refuse. Yeah.
When all else fails, I just use the Italian way, or not that everything. I don't want to get into that, but or any other more influential way to get things done, and it's like sign the dotted line. If the food and wine won't get you, if the food and wine won't convince you to buy the house, I have other ways. So don't call me unless you're really interested in buying, because when you come to visit a property, you're gonna have to buy something. I gotta warn you, you're gonna have to. It's just mandatory, So
I'll work with you. I can be there in the restaurant with the people and say, look, you should sign now, because you don't want to be talking to Tony and Frank. Tony and Frank are sitting waiting there out the back there. Good to see Tony and Frank on the show this morning. When are you on next, Carl? We are on tomorrow morning. Well, we've got Gardener's Q&A tonight, just after 6. Tomorrow morning, we have Miguel Silva, who really likes our show and offered to come and do the long-awaited Beginner's Guide to Portuguese Politics. Great bloke, offered to do it, loves what we do here on the community, and is going to give us that long-awaited guide. The basics, nothing too heavy or serious, but just so you know what you're dealing with when it comes to politics in Portugal. So, yeah, join us again with Miguel in the morning. It's so funny, can't stop laughing, says Milda. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun this morning, absolutely. And one final practical tip. This is from Vismag. Top tip for a saltwater pool is to turn it off in a lightning storm. Who knew? Who knew? So much value on the show this morning. Finally, Tony, thank you so much. Muito prazer. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much, Carl and Frank, sharing this stage with you guys. Thank you for having me on. I love, talking about Portugal. It's Portugal. Real estate is what we do, but but Portugal is my passion, and the food and wine, and just Portugal in itself is again, I didn't grow up here. So, and coming here as an outsider, as an expat myself, right? It's just one of those things that you fall in love with the country, and that's what it's all about. And so so thank you so much for letting me portray my little neck of the woods here in the Minho, especially. But all of Portugal is beautiful, all of it. And the data.
Dude, you're a rock star. You knocked it out of the park. It's just you're a very beautiful person. This is amazing. It's you're a very good representation of Minho or whichever region you're in, as you say. So it's such a pleasure to have you on.
And we
thank you, Frank.
Look forward to welcoming you again, Tony. Take care. Bye for now. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.